Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going through my week 3 check-in along with my Paycheck 3 closeout. So we are going to jump right on into it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are not new, welcome back. My name is Janelle. I'm a wife and a mother of one, and we are expecting our second child. And on here, we do all things cashless budgeting. So if that is something that you're interested in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I am using the Budget Mom Paycheck to Paycheck workbook, and I have been enjoying it since I've got back into budgeting towards like April or May. I was kind of out of commission, y'all. That first trimester was a hot mess. But then I decided to go back to using this because we needed to physically write things down, and I have just been enjoying it. So we are going to be looking at the 18th through the 24th. I do just want to be honest, I have not been tracking my expenses in my wallet. So that's why you guys don't see my wallet here, because I have only been using, well, 2 cards, but one of them is easy to track, which is my Amex, because I've only been charging groceries to that. Everything is just on our Discover card. So I literally just at the end of the week go and look at my Discover card and see all of the charges and then write them down. Sometimes my gas hasn't fully updated with the price, so I always have the receipt for that. And honestly, y'all, that has been working for me. It's nice having like my wallet and seeing it like right there, but I'll talk a little bit more about it in my monthly August budget. But I'm going to be changing some things and see if that works for me. The great thing about budgeting is that you can always change it to make sure it suits your needs and your family. So with all of that being said, on the 18th, we had a lot going on. So I was also sick on the 18th, and I say this to say because I did a grocery delivery for $118.12. Then I had a huge Amazon order. $30 went to kids. I'm trying to remember what I got for baby girl out of here. I got her a book bag and some water bottles. No, I got her a book bag and something else because she started her new daycare and they do stuff a little bit different. So I needed to get that for baby girl. Out of the baby fund, I spent $60 because I got a storage kit for the baby because I am starting to slowly prep. I have about less than a month before I'm in my 3rd trimester. So yeah, I got to start getting it together. And then the remainder of the $51.94 were just things that I bought for our home. And lastly, so with all of that being said, while I was super sick, I was sick literally all this week pretty much. Things are just clearing up for me. We had a meet the teacher night, walk the school again, and get all the paperwork done. So my husband came home early that day. We went to go meet baby girl's teachers and stuff like that. And y'all, it's only been a week, but baby girl is so happy. It is crazy. And we've been enjoying it. So I'm happy with our decision. And that's a whole nother story, but I'm not really going to harp on it. We made the change. It needed to happen, and it's best for us and our child. And so my husband needed to eat something, so he bought wings. So the 18th was a very full day. Then on the 19th, we had lawn care that came out on the 21st. I think I might have talked about this last week, but we did get our appraised value for our home reduced. So this was what was owed to the property tax lawyers for getting that reduced. So it was $392.11, and that was paid for. On the 22nd, I had a doctor's appointment. I did need to go and pick up some medication, and that was for $5.56. And then I also got gas because it was like literally in the same like parking lot for $33.84. We had our YouTube TV at 106.35, and y'all, that was it. And as you can see, for the month of July, we have not been like spending a whole lot. Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, we are gonna be way over in groceries, but that's a whole nother story. But we have not just been spending. We have been doing very well with our spending. So we are gonna go over to our actual check-in, and let's see what the numbers actually look like when we write it down on paper. So first things first is going to be groceries. So we only had one grocery run, and that was for $118.12. For gas, we only spent $33.84. For household was only $35. For spending, we spent $16.01 plus $51.94. Oh, darn. Equals $67.95. Nothing for eating out or kids. And I did say this, I think last week too, or maybe in one of my sinking funds videos, but going forward into August and beyond, I'll be getting rid of the eating out and the kids category, like cashless category, and we'll only have groceries, gas, household, and spending. Spending will cover anytime we want to eat out, anytime I need to buy something quick for the children, buy something quick for the house, like that spending category, like that's just what it's there for. I think that I might have just gotten away from myself some with just adding all of these categories, trying to put a few dollars in each of them and it not working out, and then being overwhelmed or anxious because I feel like I don't have enough money to do the things that we need to do. And right now, this is just really our main focus. These are the things that make sense to us. And so you won't see anything for the rest of the month come out of here. It will just come out of spending. Even though I have not merged the monies, because I will wait until we get into August to do that. So when we add all of this up, plus 35 plus 33.84 plus 118.12, we spent $254.91 out of our cashless envelopes this week. Now for bills, the only bill we had was our YouTube TV for $106.35. And then for sinking funds, we took out $60 plus $30 plus $5.56 plus $392.11. We spent $487.67 out of sinking funds, which is great because guess what? I haven't had to go into debt for any of these things. And that is the most important thing. I think when, especially when you're on a debt journey, it is so important to just save some money up first. You don't have to have a million categories. Maybe just have an emergency fund and then another like savings account that you're just throwing money in there. So when you have things like maybe you have to pay a copay for the doctor or something, you could just take that money out and not have to continually get yourself back into debt. But I will say things are so stinking expensive that sometimes it could be discouraging when you're like, I'm putting $5 away, but I never have enough to even cover like one simple like copay or something like that. So I totally understand, but keep on. I promise, keep on. So we are going to go over here first. We're going to go over here first, and we are going to, I should have put this right here and then this right here. So this is the 18th through the 24th. So I know where we are. So for groceries, I actually want to use a different color here so we know what's going on. So for groceries, we spent $118.12. So we'll do $98.17 minus $118.12. We are at negative $19.95. For gas, we spent $33.84. And last week we had $53.95 minus, so we have $20.11 in here. For household, we spent $35. And household, okay, we got some money in household, y'all. $134.64 minus 35 is $99.64. And then we had spending, which we did $67.95. And so spending had $146.74 minus $67.95, $78.79. And with the spending, y'all, this will help me practice my intentional spending that I had planned to accomplish or as a goal for 2025. So that's good as well too. Nothing for eating out, and eating out was at negative 32.32. And then for kids, we didn't do anything, so we're at 81.38. And so what will happen is when I close out July, this money will then go into spending, and then I'll kind of find a middle ground and do an average of that money going into spending so that we're not like losing out on anything. But this is where we're ending out the week in our cashless cash envelopes. Also, another thing that will be changing is this will be, I want to say, the last month that I will be just taking the money out of our checking account, which is our operating account. I think we are at a point now where we have enough money in our checking account to be able to, at the beginning of the month, roll all of that money into my Ally account. And that is just the money that I have to spend, because for groceries, I am getting a little carried away because I'm just like, oh, I will take it out of the operating account to some degree. So that will help me rein that in as well. And then we have one thing over here. So as you can see, for the 18th through the 24th, we had one income of $550, and then we had our YouTube TV. And now we're going to do cash envelopes payback. And I'm going to just do payback. And we spent $254.91. That's what's coming out of that checking account. So $1054.68 minus $254.91. And that leaves us with $799.77. Now let's see if this number, I know last week, y'all, I never went back to check, but we gonna figure it out. See what our Paycheck 3 paycheck actually looks like. So we are gonna talk about all of the things because some things did happen this month. All right, so let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so here was our rollover. We are going to change that rollover so that the numbers actually match to, where were we? 6/11/03. Okay. So we had 611.03 as our rollover. We did get income of 550. And I should have wrote this in. I'll go back and write it later, but I should have wrote this in because I did say that whenever I add extra money to our sinking funds and savings, I will add that income and then subtract it, because I want to be able to show that like this was the additional money we were able to put in to be able to build up those sinking funds. So we did 1470. We added 1470 to the account. So we're going to add 1470 plus 550 plus 611.03. And that was 2631. Okay. That's the income we have to work with this month or this week. Next is going to be daycare. Baby girl started daycare. However, they have not charged us for this week. I'm not sure if they just gave everybody 1 week free or how it worked out, but nothing was taken out. YouTube TV was at 106.35. And internet, I'm not sure why, but it's not doing this paycheck. It hadn't been charged yet, so I couldn't pay it back. So for this week, we only spent 106.35. And I'll just leave that blank here. Then we're going to go down to our variable expenses. So groceries was 118.12. Gas was, I need to like write that down somewhere, because I can't just rip the page out and then put it back in. So I apologize for the back and forth, but this is real life budgeting. So $33.84 for gas. Household was $35. Spending was $67.95. And it came out to $254.91. Okay. That's what was spent out of here. And now you might see this after the savings. I didn't even write it in here, so we're going to go through what I put in these categories here. But for car maintenance, I added an additional $64. For clothes, I added $149, and the goal was to get these accounts to something reasonable. I looked somewhat to the end of the year and just what I was expecting we'll need to pay for stuff. So like car maintenance, I know that my tag is due in September, so I just wanted to make sure there was a good enough amount of money in there to cover that tag. Clothes, I know that when we get into the winter time, so baby girl number 2 is due in the beginning of November. And that would have probably been the time that I would have bought my husband some more like shirts and pants for the winter. So I wanted to make sure we had some money for that. And if I needed to buy him an extra like outfit for like delivery, postpartum, all that stuff when we were at the hospital, I wanted to make sure we had some money for clothes as well too. For family fun, I just put $45 in here. We're not really expecting to go anywhere really for the rest of the year. Maybe sometime, I don't know, we might end up like going to a museum or something like that. But football is about to come into swing, y'all. Our Saturdays and Sundays are going to be busy. Next is going to be health. We always need money in health, and I put $161 into here. For holiday, I put $50. I do have like a savings challenge that I'm also completing as I get extra money to be able to support this holiday fund. It's really going to be for Halloween if baby girl's school does anything for Halloween, candy for our neighbors, Thanksgiving, and a Christmas gift or two. Next is going to be home maintenance. Always need some money to take care of the home. I knew that we needed some more. My husband had told me that we needed some more like filters and stuff like that. And we'll probably need some more around the end of the year as well too. Next is going to be kids. We put $275 in here. This was one of the reasons why I took away the kids fund in our cashless envelopes, because with the kids, all that money is just going to sit in that savings account. I don't really use or buy stuff every single day. And if I'm using just one credit card, it's just so easy to buy everything and just pay it off at the end of the month or every week whenever I'm reconciling my budget, instead of splitting up like what monies go where to how or whatever. So this kids is for everything that both of our children will need, whether it's pictures, getting their hair done, buying diapers, wipes, all of the things. It will just be in here. Next is going to be pet, and we're putting $20 in here. Subscriptions, we're putting $300. And this is just to start working on saving money to cover our HOA that's due in January, and for my car insurance due in January, because one of my biggest things is in January, I normally get like a bonus type thing, and I won't get that while I'm on maternity leave. So I have to move a little bit more diligently this time around. Vacation, I am just still making sure some money goes into there for next year, and that's at $16. So that was everything for our savings. Our sinking funds, and that was $1,150. For our savings, I put $25 into our rainy day fund. I put $240 into our emergency fund. If I'm not mistaken, that has officially brought us to $2,500 in our emergency fund. So kudos to us. For home projects, I did $45, and for moving, I told myself I'm always going to at least put $1, but I did put $10 into moving. So when I add all of that up, and that was $320 to our savings, we put $1,470 into our sinking funds and savings, additionally to what we put in. Was it last week? Yeah, last week of $202. So that was really some good money there. And then we did not do anything for debt this week, so that was at $0. So now we can go through our numbers right here and make sure it adds up to what it should be at. So we'll be at 26. Oh, I forgot to add 03. Okay, so 2631.03 minus 106.35, which brought us to 2524.68. 2524.68 minus 254.91, which brings us to 2269.77. 2269.77 minus 1470 is 799.77, and then nothing for debt. So, and then, oh y'all, I was almost close. 79,977, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that's exactly where we are in our checking account as well too. So let's just double check. Yep, 79.77. I'm gonna just check it off so I know that we were good, y'all. So that is our week 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and just kind of give you an insight to what's going on in our weekly lives. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.